welcome to HITC Sport, and Man City and European football go about as well together as Russell Brand and Showers. Right above, it's almost as if the Champions League gods are just refusing to acknowledge them as a big club. It's been 12 years since their big money financial takeover, when Sheikh Mansour single-handedly made them the richest club on the planet, and they still haven't even sniffed in the direction of a Champions League title. They've spent over £1.5 billion on their squad since 2008. 1.5 billion! With that sort of money, you could probably cure hunger in Malawi. You could buy 4 White Houses and the rights to Hannah Montana. Yeah, City have hoovered up domestically, but I'm sorry. All that means nothing when your European pedigree stands at one limp European Cup Winners' Cup won over 50 years ago. Especially considering the club they beat in the final, that was like a brand of Polish shoe polish. This season, City fans celebrated winning their appeal against that 2-year UEFA ban from European football. But why bother? A bit like when Arsenal kept celebrating for finishing 4th, what is the point in competing in a competition you don't know how to win? And the tragic thing is, the City owners have been predicting European dominance for years.
Manchester City ordered to win Champions League by Sheikh Mansour, reveals skipper company.
Ordered to win it. Or what, they'll end up shoving your family pets in a toaster? For every year they don't win it, they'll cut off one of your wife's toes? Christ above, I hope not, or David Silva's missus wouldn't have any feet left. This was back in 2014 and they haven't come any closer to winning it. Pep Guardiola, I'm sorry, you are a world-class manager. Yes, you have turned Man City into a beautiful ball-playing machine, but your record in European football, at least in England, without Lionel Messi, is borderline horrific. They'd already mastered winning cups in England before he came. That wasn't why he was hired. His remit was to take them to the next level, repeating the Champions League success he'd had at Barcelona. This guy was supposed to be a Champions League expert, but now he looks like a borderline amateur. He earns £15 million a year, with the job description being make City champions of Europe, and to have not even reached a semi-final in 4 goddamn attempts for £15 million a year. Mark Hughes would probably do that, and he wouldn't need no £15 million either. You could probably just pay him with a home-cooked meal and a hug. Never mind money, that fella would willingly give up his house and sleep in his car if it meant getting another crack at the Man City job. But Pep, you have all the footballing resources in the world. What more do you need to win this thing? Do you know how many clubs would love the luxury of being able to spend £200 million solely on fullbacks, or to be able to chuck 60 million quid on forwards to warm the bench? So to not even be able to beat Lyon in a one-off Champions League quarter-final. This was a team who just finished 7th in the bastard French league. Their best player and captain is a Man United flop. Their top scorer, who turned your defence into soggy wet cat food, he was dragged in out the back arse of Scotland. And their big money midfield engine was recently stuffed in the Arsenal reserves. Pep has spent more on Man City defenders than Lyon have spent on transfers since 2015. Not to mention, this club were forced to sell their 3 best players last summer. This was a case of Man City proving once again they are absolute and utter European bottle jobs. Since the big money takeover, they've lost a UEFA Cup quarter-final against Hamburg, they were dumped out of the Europa League last 16 by Dynamo Kiev, failed to qualify for the Champions League group stage in 2012, before being dumped out of Europe altogether by Sporting Lisbon in the Europa League round of 16. The next year, they tried their second bite of the Champions League, now as reigning Premier League champions, and with a squad filled with proven world-class footballers. But this time they finished bottom of the group, even below Ajax. They then crashed out of the competition in the last 16 against Barcelona 2 years running, finally reached a semi-final in 2016, and then failed to score any goals over 2 legs against Real Madrid. In comes Guardiola, and you expect an upturn in form? No, since then, round of 16 defeat against Monaco, quarter-final defeat against Liverpool, quarter-final defeat against Tottenham, and now a 3rd quarter-final defeat in a row against the mighty Lyon. The only semi-Pep's had has been when he's thinking about his weekly wage in the bath. Timo Bakayoko, Loris Karius, Danny Rose, Moussa Sissoko, Memphis Depay. These are the caliber of players who've dumped this megabuck City team out of Europe 4 years running. Christ above, Lyon had Jason Denayer in defence, and he couldn't cough in the direction of a first team game during his 5 years at the Etihad. 1 semi-final in 12 goddamn years. By contrast, this is Lyon's 2nd semi-final within that time frame. Schalke, Roma, Tottenham and Ajax have also reached the last 4 since then. Even Fulham have reached a European final within that time frame. Atletico Madrid have played in 4. James Milner spent most of his time at the Etihad stuffed on the bench, and since being squeezed out the door like a piece of leftover tuna, he's since played in 3 European finals. And a Super Cup, 3 more European finals than your entire goddamn club. James Milner. This was a perfect example of both City and Pep splattering their arrogance all over the park. Having just seen off Real Madrid over 2 legs, they probably thought their name was on the cup. Half the players probably thought they could mentally switch off and sleepwalk through a quarter-final past a bunch of French farmers. In the City players' head, they probably looked at players like Denayer and Dembele and probably just thought they spent the year milking pigs for a living. Had Pep just picked his normal team and played the way City have done domestically over the last 3 years, they would have had enough about them to eat Lyon for breakfast. And now, suddenly, it was 3-1-4-2. This looks like the kind of brain-dead formation your mentally impaired cousin might pick on FIFA. Sticking Kyle Walker and João Cancelo on the wings, sticking a 19-year-old Eric Garcia as the leader at the heart of your defence, that is about as sensible as sticking your knob in the microwave. This fella has about as much experience in European competition as I do giving birth to a family of piglets. And he just rejected a contract the previous week. So why are you putting him on a pitch? Pep, if your wife comes to you with divorce papers, are you really going to want to bring her on that planned 2-week romantic trip to Paris? Clearly she doesn't want to be there, and so you're probably at risk of having a croissant jammed down your throat. And if you play a defensive highline with a 35-year-old Fernandinho in your back three, then I'm sorry, you get what you deserve. He's about 2 years off retirement. I personally know a couple of heavily pregnant sheep who would beat him in a race. How did Pep not understand that this tactic was about as risky as letting Stevie Wonder cut your hair? You're most likely going to end up with a pair of scissors stuck in your eye. Actually, I said Pep underestimated Lyon, didn't I? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he actually showed them too much respect. Because setting up defensively against, let's be honest, a bunch of bang average journeymen, when you have a squad littered with some of the most lethal attackers on the planet, who can blow most teams out of the water, then what the hell were you scared of? It's like getting sick in a toilet 5 minutes before you're supposed to arm wrestle a toddler. What are you worried about? I think you'll be okay. Had City just attacked them from the off with their usual 4-3-3 system, they'd have won the game, I have no doubt about that. Because Lyon are a team who've lost 14 games this season. PSG alone have stuck 10 goals past them. They are nothing special, I promise you that. And listen, yes, Raheem Sterling has been a brilliant player for Man City, yes. Yes, he scored 100 goals and rammed the words of the critics back down their throats. But this miss, unopposed, the chance to score a tap-in into an empty net. I'm sorry, when there's literally millions of pounds and the dignity of a football club at stake. Oh, screw your head on, Raheem. I would have scored this and I'd have done it for free. You have to think when a footballer's been paid upwards of £250,000 a week to do exactly this, there should probably be ramifications when they don't. It's the equivalent of Ed Sheeran setting out Wembley, only to spend 3 hours coughing into the mic, or a highly paid brain surgeon accidentally leaving his wedding ring inside your skull. You could forgive this miss in Sunday League, maybe, but in a Champions League quarter-final, when you earn a dentist's annual salary in 5 goddamn days, I'm sorry, but there is no excuse. Sterling should probably spend the week hiding inside a suitcase, because how can he look any of his teammates in the eye after that? The man's been deathly silent on Twitter. Why not instead come out and apologise to the fans? You know, the guys who pay your weekly wage. Anyway, a quick word on Man United, who were dumped out of the Europa League by Sevilla. Let's be honest, they should probably rename this competition the Sevilla Cup. They are just 1 win away from winning this competition 6 times since 2006. That is mental. Anyway, for United, it was a game of missed chances and sloppy defending. That is 3 semi-finals they played this season. Lost every single one. And you have some fans on Twitter thinking this is some sort of achievement. No. Losing 3 semi-finals under someone like Sir Alex Ferguson, and I'm pretty sure there'll be blood soaked on the changing room walls. Christ, were you there to witness that utter spunk sandwich defending by Victor Lindelof for the second goal? He'd probably have ripped his gallbladder out through the goddamn nose. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to bring in some players if he is serious about challenging for silverware. Because I know there's been progress in the second half of the season, but let's just shake our heads and realise where things are for a second. Manchester United are losing a Europa League semi-final to Sevilla. This cannot be deemed normal now. Let's be honest, this is a competition for losers. I'm sorry, but it is. Even the Geordies used to reach the last 4 of this competition, and those fans were clearly born with a severe allergy to silverware. And yes, I know they lost the same opposition under Jose Mourinho when Wissam Ben Yedder smashed home the winners at Old Trafford, but at least that was the Champions League. There was still that element of, alright, at least this is the stage where Man United should be. But now, being dusted down by the same mediocre opposition in the Europa League this time, it's like Logan Paul not being beaten up by KSI in a multi-million-pound prestigious boxing ring with millions of pounds at stake, but instead just having his face turned into wet cottage pie out the back of a Tesco car park. It would just be a bit undignified all round. This is the Europa League. Lads, the year they spent in that competition under Sir Alex Ferguson back in 2012, they almost seemed embarrassed to be there. Even Jose Mourinho said about Chelsea in 2013. Winning this trophy is nothing to be celebrated. And to be fair, it's right. It's like sitting and passing an exam meant for illiterate hillbillies. I don't think getting an A for being able to correctly spell the word cat is really worthy to be put on the fridge. Even in 2017 when United beat Ajax in the final to lift this thing, it wasn't so much ecstasy among the fans, it was more relief. Relief that a guaranteed qualification for the Champions League, meaning they wouldn't have to play this bastard competition ever again. Thursday night trips to Kazakhstan, Latvia and bastard Estonia, the Man United players would probably rather clean out a pig's belly button with their tongue than sit on those 6-hour flights to Baltic conditions. So United and Ollie, they need to take a proper crack at the Champions League next season. Because if they fall into the trapdoor of finishing third in a group, then suddenly it's back to being stuck on planes to Kiev and Belgrade, playing in a competition that probably shouldn't even exist. Anyway, what do you think, Man United fans? Should Victor Lindelof be stripped for parts? Should Jesse Lingard's career be chucked in a wood chipper? Is there too much pressure being placed on Mason Greenwood's shoulders, considering he was probably still wetting the bed in 2016? Anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.